And now that I'm in the second half of life, there's a prayer that I've adopted, and I think it's a great prayer for any of us who are grandparents. It's found in Psalm 71. Oh God, you have helped me from my earliest childhood, and I have constantly testified to others of the wonderful things you do. And now that I'm old and gray, don't forsake me. Give me time to tell this new generation and their children too about all your mighty miracles. Your power and goodness, Lord, reach to the highest heavens. You have done such wonderful things. Where is there another God like you? Don't we serve a great God? And those of us in the second half of life, we have an obligation to tell the next generation that there is no other God like him. That Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And this brings me to my very first point this morning. For those of us in the second half of life, I want us to consider leaving a legacy of faith. Look at Joshua 4, verse 21. Then Joshua explained the purpose of the stones. In the future, he said, when your children ask why these stones are here and what they mean, you are to tell them that these stones are a reminder of these amazing miracles that the nation of Israel crossed the river Jordan on dry ground. Tell them how the Lord our God dried up the river right before our eyes and then kept it dry until we were all across. He did this so that all the nations of the earth will realize that Jehovah is the mighty God, and so that all of you will worship him forever. And so my question for us this morning is, are we leaving a trail of faith? Are we sowing seeds of faith? Are we telling our faith story to our children and to our children's children, telling them about the miracles that God has performed in our own lives, the many times that he has intervened, the way he has answered our prayers through the years and supplied our every need? Second, leave a legacy of hope. Leave a legacy of hope. Let me say something to those of us who are in the second half of life. It is tempting for us, and I've done it, you've done it, it's tempting for us to reflect on the good old days and glamorize the past and even get a little pessimistic about today and tomorrow. But sometimes we do that and we jeopardize the optimism and the hope of the next generation. And so we need to leave a legacy of hope that the best days are still ahead. Look at what the psalmist said in Psalm 78. Oh, my people, listen to my instructions. Open your ears to what I'm saying. For I will speak to you in a parable. I will teach you a hidden lesson from our past. Stories we have heard and known. Stories our ancestors handed down to us. We will not hide these truths from our children. We will tell the next generation about the glorious deeds of the Lord, about his power and his mighty wonders. He commanded our ancestors to teach them to their children, so the next generation might know them, even the children not yet born, and they in turn will teach their own children. So watch this. So each generation should set its hope anew on who? On God, not forgetting his glorious miracles and obeying his commands. Then they will not be like their ancestors, stubborn, rebellious, and unfaithful, refusing to give their hearts to God. We have a reason to give hope to the next generation. Third, let's leave a legacy of love. The greatest command in Scriptures is to love the Lord with all your heart and your neighbor as yourself. And then the Apostle Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians 13:13, 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. Fourth, leave a legacy of generosity. Leave a legacy of generosity. And I'm not talking about leaving an abundant inheritance. Now, if you have the ability to leave a material inheritance, That's a wonderful thing. My goal is not to stick my children with the funeral bill, okay? Or any other bill for that matter. What I'm talking about is leaving a pattern, a model, a blueprint for what it means to be generous. Look at what Jesus says in Luke 6:38. He says, give to others, and God will give to you. Do you see the cycle? We give, God gives. Indeed, you will receive a full measure, a generous helping, poured into your hands, all that you can hold. The measure you use for others is the one that God will use for you. Oh, if we could just help our children to understand the importance of being generous, their needs, all their needs will be met. Finally, we need to leave a legacy of joy. A legacy of joy. Nehemiah 8:10, the joy of the Lord is my strength. I want to leave a legacy of joyful memories. When I'm dead and gone, and my children think about me or they see a picture of me, I hope there'll be joy in their hearts. In fact, I hope they just laugh out loud.